Yes,
Bring them up if you need.
we are ready.
Okay.
Oh, we are, okay. Good evening, folks. Certainly good to see all of you. And to call this,
I can do that. You can wait for that.
I call this meeting to order of the Vinton Town Council for this Tuesday evening, March 19th, and we'll start with the roll call, please.
Councilmember Lyles. Councilmember McCarty.
Here.
Councilmember Mullins. Here. Vice Mayor Stovall.
Here.
Mayor Gross.
Here. All right. Thank you, folks. As always, we'll stand for the moment of silence. And Keith's not here. Any volunteers to do the pledge this evening? Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I'll do the
Thanks, sir.
You're volunteering.
Raise the flag, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, for volunteering for that. And so we'll move on to our community events. Rita, do you have those, I guess?
I do. Town Council Budget Retreat is March 22nd, this Friday at Mill Mountain Discovery Center. The State of the Town will be April the 4th at the beautiful War Memorial. We do have a shred event on April the 20th from 9 to 12 at the Municipal Building rear parking lot. That was a huge success last year. I'm sure it will be this year as well. Thank you, Tony, for getting that together for us. The Vinton Dogwood Festival concert is April the 26th at 6 p.m. and the Dogwood Festival will be April the 27th at 10 a.m. Can you believe it's time for the Dogwood Festival?
It's hard to believe.
Wow. And we'd also like for encourage everyone to visit the many restaurants and entertainment venues that we have in the town of Vinton. You can check out their websites and on social media, and for more information on everything happening in Vinton, please visit the In Vinton Facebook page and don't forget to like and share.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am, and welcome back.
And wait, wasn't there something going on at the May the 18th at the Vinton History Museum? They're having a garage sale.
Oh, cool.
And then June the 1st, going out a little ways, but I'll do it again. They're having the community ice cream social. So we don't want to forget that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. As I say, welcome back.
I know.
All right, with that, we'll move on to our council activities. I guess you got that, Lori?
I do. I feel like we're forgetting something, but it's been kind of slow. We're good. March 18th, Mayor Gross and Vice Mayor Stovall attended the Finance Committee meeting, and this morning, Mayor Gross, Vice Mayor Stovall, and myself attended the Town of Vinton Employee Appreciation Luncheon for March Madness. And we were fierce competitors.
We were.
And I'm sorry, Alan.
Leave it at that.
We had a little trouble. We had a little trouble with the March Madness scramble on the words, but we fierce competitors. We did win the drunk goggle contest. Stop the ball in the head. We did win those.
We did.
Nothing like experience. No, we'll see.
Beginner's luck.
That's
Beginner's luck, that's right. Okay. I guess we better move on. Next item is a request to postpone or change the order of the agenda. Anything? Hearing nothing, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which tonight contains the minutes of the regular meeting for February 20th, 2024. Are there any changes or additions? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. And Tony, I guess you got all the names on that one, right? I moved a little quick. Okay. All right. Awards and introductions, and I understand you have a proclamation for us this evening, right?
Yes, sir. This is a proclamation for MS Awareness Month. Whereas multiple sclerosis is a chronic, often debilitating disease of the central nervous system that affects approximately 915,000 people in the United States, and whereas it typically strikes young people in the prime of their life in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and whereas symptoms can start as tingling, numbness in the limbs or nerves, loss of mobility, coordination, and vision, and could progress to paralysis, and whereas women are more likely than men to have MS by about 2 to 1, and whereas March is Multiple Sclerosis Education and Awareness Month, and it is important to have better education and awareness of multiple sclerosis so that victims can lead more productive and satisfying lives to benefit themselves, their caregivers, families, and the entire community, and whereas the exact cause of MS is unknown and there is no known cure, and every hour of every day someone is newly diagnosed, and whereas the Multiple Sclerosis Alliance of Virginia provides programs and services for anyone in Virginia whose life has been affected by MS. Now, therefore, Mayor Bradley E. Gross and Vinton Town Council of the Town of Vinton, on behalf of all of our citizens, do hereby recognize the month of March 2024 as Multiple Sclerosis Education and Awareness Month in the Town of Vinton. In witness thereof, I have set my hand and caused the seal of the Town of Vinton, Virginia, to be affixed this day on the 19th of March. And I would just like to say thank you all very much for this proclamation. As most of you know, it's special to me because this year I am celebrating my 20th anniversary of being diagnosed. And I say celebrating because I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I have no complaints. I've been blessed through it all. I can really see God's hand in my path, and just want to share my experience in case anybody else has questions, or I'm an open book. So thank you all.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. Yes, you are doing really well. Well, I must
Yes, sir.
say, you bet. With that, we'll move on to citizen comments. I don't see any citizens here tonight, other than, yeah,
Just us.
just us chickens. All right. And with that, we'll move on to our first item that requires action tonight, and that's concerning the personal property delinquent taxes and vehicle license fees. Mr. King.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This is the annual personal property and vehicle license fee write-off that I'm going to request of you. It is a process that we go through every year. Essentially clears our books of delinquent personal property taxes that are in excess of 5 years old. So I wanted to note a couple of things. This year's cumulative amount for personal property and VLFs is $23,262.62. That does represent an increase over last year's write-off of about $4,000. But we can say with certainty that the effort to collect was, as thorough as possible. So not only did each of these go through regular and delinquent billings for each of the 5 years that they remained delinquent, but they also went through the debt set-off process every single year of that. And that includes both the 2022 and 2023 special refunds that the state allocated, and a lot of times, or what we saw was those picked up more debt set-off payments than the regular process does through the Virginia tax. So we did run it through all those debt set-offs. We did, process those through delinquent billings, and they will remain on a permanent file that should these individuals become active taxpayers again, these will come back to them in the form of a delinquent payment that we will start the process over again. So I am asking you all to write off what we have for 2018, and do you all have any questions?
Council, any questions, comments?
I'll so move the resolution.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Vice Mayor Stovall, second by Councilmember Mullins. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles, Councilmember McCarty.
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall.
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for that report, Andrew. All right, with that, we'll move on to the next item for action, and that's concerning a construction bid for some crosswalks that we've been talking about for a while, so.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, members of council. And pinch hitting for Anita this evening. She was called away for a family item, so I'll do my best to fill in for her. On January 19th, town issued an RFP for bids for construction of two crosswalks. These are two separate VDOT-funded grant programs, but we bid them together. VDOT gave us that permission. And on February 15th, we received the bid opening two bids, one in the amount of $661,000 and one in the amount of we'll call it $99,000. We reviewed the bids, discussed it with VDOT, and they've authorized us to provide a contract. So before you this evening, you have a resolution to award the construction bid to F&B Contractors Limited in the amount of $499,118.25 for the construction of both Hardy Road Crosswalk and Gus Nix Boulevard Crosswalk. The $499,118 is within the expected budget for the project. And so we have, again, all of the approvals from VDOT. We have the available funding. And per your authorization, we'll get the contracts executed tomorrow morning and proceed to pre-construction meeting. We anticipate the contractor getting the materials ordered and being on site sometime in early May. They'll actually target to do the Hardy Road Crosswalk first so that the bulk of the work will be done during the summer and while school is out of session. There will be some simultaneous work at both sites, but primarily you'll see the work at Hardy Road first, and then they'll proceed to Gus Nix Boulevard. They have 90 days to substantial and 120 days to completion. So it will be a fairly quick moving project to be honest. So in your packet, I think you have the resolution, some other support details, but happy to answer any questions you have. As the mayor said, this has been a long project in the works, and we're very happy to kind of get this, make this a reality. It seems like we've been working on this for a while.
Yeah, well, some of these things have a lot of details that moving targets. So, but yeah, I'm glad to see this, and I will tell you, I'm really excited about the one on Hardy Road. Getting across Hardy Road is a challenge. So I think this is a real great safety addition to our community there. Council, you have any questions, comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution as presented by the
I'll make a
manager.
motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember McCarty, second by Councilmember Mullins.
Councilmember Lyles, Councilmember McCarty,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. All right, moving right along this evening. So now we're to the Finance Committee report. Andrew?
Can I, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask a point of order?
Sure.
I did ask Chief Drummond to go get Officer Shepard. I want to commend you for this morning. I'm going to give you all a little history. As y'all very well know, I ran transportation in Roanoke County for 6.5 years. There was an accident this morning involving a Roanoke County school bus. Mr. Hubbard was actually my second in command. I appointed him to my second in command. It was Mr. Hubbard's fault. And he, of course, he called me this morning. He's actually going to write a letter to the town, but he did want to commend you. I believe one of the Bible verses that I believe is Proverbs 3:21, which talks about wisdom and common sense. And he admitted. You asked him a question, he admitted, I mean, it was blatantly his fault because he had a car in the rear end, which had the car in front of it hit the rear end. So it was blatantly his fault, but you did. He said an exceptional job. You were very professional. And of course, in front of council and everybody else wanted to bring you up here and congratulate you on that.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right,
This
yes.
is a great name, really does.
Well, thank you, sir. As always, our Benton Police Department sets a great example. So,
Yes.
yeah, thank you
Appreciate it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get out of order, but.
No, no, that's-
Go back to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, so.
Well, thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, for doing that. Like I say, we'll gladly stop and celebrate something like that. Problem. All right. Andrew, you think you can top that?
And I'm going to try to. I find this equally as exciting, but. All right. So, Finance Committee met yesterday, and we did have a pretty slim agenda. The only thing that was on the agenda was to approve the minutes of the February meeting and then discuss the January financial statements. So, keeping with theme throughout the year, everything remains strong as far as town finances are concerned. January typically is a low month for us as it represents kind of our furthest point from a collection. But it does kind of pave the way for our big spring collections, which include, bank franchise tax, business licenses, and then the spring real estate and personal property tax collections. So we weathered January, which is a good thing. And I wanted to talk a little bit about general fund revenues. So January is the 7th month of the fiscal year. So we would expect to see, or we would hope to see rather, 58% of revenues collected by this period in the year. We were at 66%. So that kind of fits the trend, and everything still remains high on collections. That includes our really consumer-driven taxes. So our parimutuel, our state sales, our meals tax, and then of course cigarette stamps. So everything remains high there, and we're excited about that and hope that continues through the end of the year and further. Expenditures were also high. They were at 68%, but we also had some pretty substantial expenses leading up to this point. So we do expect to see expenditures kind of slow and revenues continue to increase. So although expenditures are a little bit higher than where we'd like to see this point in the year, like I said, we do expect to see that to level out through the last few months of the fiscal year, but also expect to see our revenues continue to climb at the exponential rate that they are. The only other thing that I wanted to point out that we talked about is, of course, our investment dollars for capital fund. We have been able to put some of that to use for some paving over the last couple of months and some other projects. So that money is going towards what we'd hoped to, and sitting in a reserve for the new capital projects as they present themselves and as contractor availability allows. So things continue to be good through January. The only other thing that I'll update you on is November, we had talked about the Mountain View Road project. We had pulled some funds from our capital investment fund to prepay that project, $500,000. And I'd said at the point that we did that our goal was to re-up that into the capital fund, move it back to investments as revenue allowed. So we were able to do that. So that account is back whole again and generating interest at a good rate. So again, that money's been refunded back to our capital fund where it can be used again for future projects. So, but everything looks good. Do you guys have any questions?
Great job.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Good report. Council, you have any questions or comments?
No, sir, I'll approve the finance report.
Okay, is that a motion? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Approve the finance report.
I'll second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Stovall, second by Councilmember.
Hold on one second before you call vote.
Question of clarity about Vice Mayor Stovall's motion. Could you amend that motion for approval of the financial statements for January 31 of 2024?
Sure.
As to approval of the report?
Sure. Consider approval of financial statements for January 31, 2024. How about that?
Thank you, sir.
I'll second
All
that
right.
approval.
And I guess we still have a second, right? All right, please call the roll. Or no, I guess we just take the voice vote. Yeah, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Thank you. Appointments to boards. Looks like we have a reappointment to the BZA.
Is it- So we have Robert Benninger, whose term is going to be ending in April 2nd. So he would like a new 5-year term beginning April 3rd, 2024 and ending January 16, 2029. We moved them all to January 16 so they could kind of link up with the other ones. Jeremy approved that and so did Pete. So we'll move forward with that one. So if you guys are all in agreement, we're going to reappoint Robert Benninger to the BZA for a full member. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to reappoint.
Second.
They say that right?
We have a motion by Councilmember Mullins, second by Councilmember McCarty. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right. Jeremy, I don't see anything listed. I might say that you and the chief and our old school folks, we got our title.
Some people, I will say, Mr. Mayor, the BZA appointment, as you know, that's one of those where we'll have to file a petition with the circuit court and the judge will sign up on that. But so we'll
Very true.
be filing that. So.
Very true. I'd forgotten about that. Well, thank you for pointing that out. All right. With that, we'll move on to the town manager's report.
Thank you, sir. I have a couple updates for you. Most of these have been listed in the most recent mayor's report, but just for the good of all the crowd here, I'll mention a few others. First of all, I just wanted to again apologize for the delay in the agenda distribution. That's not going to be typical. This was a pretty unique circumstance, and I know staff was working really hard to try to get a few other items completed. It just became a little bit of a complex analysis on some of those, and it just didn't happen. So we were really trying to hold out the agenda to get all that in that we could, and we ultimately made a decision to pull a couple items. So you'll see those next month.
Madam Clerk, all that does is runs your stock up and shows your true worth when you're not here.
Yeah.
That's all that does.
Yeah. Oh, man.
The next item, I'd just like to let everyone know that the new public parking lot on Walnut Avenue is open.
It's beautiful.
We still have a few finishing touches to do, some additional fencing that has to be installed, and we're waiting on the lights, the actual parking lot lights, and then there's some cameras to be installed eventually that will help monitor that parking lot. But it is open, I believe. Did Debbie receive did you receive a press release today? Okay, so there's a press release that's been issued to announce that to the general public. I have also updated a letter to the downtown business owners about the opening of the lot. And I've scheduled actually a couple of in-person meetings with a couple of key business owners, such as the post office, 107 and Twin Creeks, about the use of that lot.
That's ahead of schedule?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I thought
Yep.
so. Excellent.
Yeah, but it turned out beautifully. If you haven't been down there, I encourage you to go actually into the parking lot and kind of the furthest end by the building and look back. It gives you a nice perspective, and it's pretty substantial. So, and it's just a great quality project, and we had several staff members contribute to that. But we'll do a formal ribbon cutting here soon. What we're going to do is wait for Glade Creek Greenway Phase 2B to be completed. That's just a few weeks away by itself. And then the plan is to do a joint ribbon cutting for a couple of our projects along Walnut Corridor. So we'll talk about all those and have a formal ribbon cutting to celebrate. While we're talking about Glade Creek Greenway, Phase 2B, they're poured concrete under the trestle yesterday. So the base of the trail is in place under the trestle. That also provides a foundation for the fall protection that will be built and constructed to prevent anything from falling from the trestle above when trains are active. And then tomorrow, the contractor is supposed to show up to actually do the boring underneath the creek for the new sewer line. So sewer water. Anyways, a new utility line is going under the creek. So that was a change order that we kind of discovered during the construction process, but it's progressing now back on track. And so we hope to have that done sometime in maybe early to mid-April. So just maybe a few more weeks and that should be wrapping up. Wanted just to briefly mention the paving challenges we've experienced the last couple of weeks. We did, paving is not a perfect science by any means. We do contract that service out, so it's not our staff, as you all know, but just wanted to kind of say that publicly. So, we work with our third-party contractor, and there are multiple moving pieces to this. There's the milling crew, there's the paving crew, and all the different actions that happen in the field in real time that you have to adjust to. So, we have a good relationship with our contractor. Boxley's been doing primarily all of our paving work through the bid process. We have a good relationship with them. They do a really good job of communicating to us with what information they know in that specific moment. But things do change, weather, field conditions, and then it's just a lot of reaction to when you get out in the field. So it's not perfect. We do our best to communicate as best we can, given the circumstances. And when you have roads like we just did with Clearview and Niagara, those are a couple of our more challenging roads because it's fairly high volume. And there's not, unlike Virginia, Washington, or Hardy bypass where you can shift things to one lane and still have flow. When you're talking about a road like this, it's just really no way to pave it without partially closing it down at times. I just asked for the citizens' patience during this process. We had another hiccup with the paving. The asphalt plant had an electrical issue and had to shut down yesterday. So, these things happen in the field when you're dealing with construction. And so I just asked for the citizens' patience, and we're doing everything we can to work with the contractor and appreciate all of council's response and kind of communication to us, because you're sometimes our eyes and ears out in the field, and so we can make adjustments based on your recommendations. So appreciate all that, and we should be wrapping this up in the next few days, but it will be really nice to get all that finished, and I think it would be nice to kind of roll into spring with brand new asphalt in a lot of our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
We already mentioned it, but I'll just for sake of reminding, we have the council retreat this Friday, so I look forward to that. Staff's been doing their preparations. This is primarily a budget retreat, so we'll focus on the budget this week. So we always look forward to having that time with you, and so we'll see you on Friday, and then right around the corner, 2 weeks from Thursday, we'll do the state of the town. So we also have been working and prepping for that event. Mobile Home Park, want to thank Jeremy for the work on that. The Cedar Avenue Mobile Home Park, that's been a project again, theme of the night, several years in the making. The property owner approached the town after some time of discussions about a FEMA flood mitigation project. He decided to sell the property outright. The town expressed our interest in if he vacated the property and the mobile homes were relocated and residents were relocated, that if it was a vacant property, we'd be interested in purchasing it, because it is in the floodway and flood plain, and it wouldn't allow for property to be used for residential in the future. So we would take that off kind of tax rolls and put it as part of the Greenway viewshed. And so Jeremy worked to get that closing done last week. So that was nice to finish that up. And we're also in the process of formalizing all the demolition permits. Several of the mobile homes were actually relocated. Several of them weren't in condition that they could be relocated. So we agreed as part of the purchase to remove the remaining structures. And so again, all that, what's remaining behind will all come out. Even the road, all the utilities will come out, and then we restored the green space. And so that process will happen over the next couple of months. So just wanted to let you guys know about that process. Last week, we and Mr. Lyles participated. It was actually 2 weeks ago. We had interviews with 3 consulting firms that submitted proposals to handle and assist the town with our comprehensive plan update. This is really a fun project and a lot of work, but a very fun project for local governments to get to do. I know a lot of staff's eager and looking forward to going through this process. But we interviewed 3 firms. We had an interview team as well as Councilmember Lyles. So we spent the day interviewing those teams. We scored and ranked them. We selected 3PT Ventures. It's a group, a new name, but a lot of familiar faces. And a couple of the gentlemen that are leading our project, we've actually worked with the town on quite a few occasions, including the UDA. Several versions of our UDA and our gap analysis. So you'll recognize the names and the faces once we start kicking this program off. But they're based out of Charlottesville. They did a wonderful job on both their written proposal and their interview. They're just a top-notch group, and I couldn't be more pleased with kind of getting it kicked off with them. So last week we met with them again to actually work, or actually this week we met with them to finalize the scope of work and negotiate the actual price of the comp plan. So we hope to bring that to you April 2nd for your authorization. We'll have a final cost what that comp plan was going to do. It looks like we're on a 14-month schedule. So we'll have a kickoff sometime in April. And then there's multiple tentacles of this plan. There'll be focus groups, there'll be steering committee or an advisory committee, and there'll be a lot of input from both council, planning commission, and a lot of our citizens. We're looking to possibly do 6 or 7 focus groups, and those are everything from public safety to cultural and recreation to transportation to public infrastructure, and it touches every kind of aspect, downtown and business and economic development. So it touches all kind of individual tasks of what you aspire for the town to become in the next 20 to 25 years. So we're looking forward to getting that going. Just want to let you know where we're on that process. And then lastly, just want to recognize the planning staff. It's a small grant, but every little bit helps. They were successful in getting a $4,500 grant from the Roanoke Out South Foundation for some improvements at both the canoe launch and Wolf Creek Greenway trailhead. So we had some broken guardrail and some signage that needs replaced, and just some aesthetic things, but functional things. And so they were successful in getting that grant from Roanoke Outside Foundation. And I think we'll be receiving those funds in fairly near future and get those projects on the work order list for Public Works. That's all I have, unless you have any other questions.
Oh, no, that was a great report. It's a lot of really good information there, Pete. Thank you for that. Council, you have any questions or comments? Nope. With that, we'll go ahead and move to the council section. Excuse me. So you're back in the swing of things. We can start with you, Zach, if you
All right,
like.
I definitely will. I did know that I had missed something. So back to the calendar of events for a second. Monday, April the 22nd, from 12 noon to 6. It's the 35th Vinton History Museum anniversary and kickoff fundraiser campaign for Rising to New Heights cargo/person lift. And they will be churning it up by receiving dollars and donations in our old-fashioned rocking butter churn, light refreshments, and door prizes that day. So that's the one I should have announced earlier. And I am happy to be back. And I don't know if I'll ever get this time change right, but about 6 o'clock I get real tired. But I think we'll eventually get back in the swing of things. Had a great time. Appreciate your prayers. Safe travels. It was just phenomenal. Everybody should try to go if you can. But try to go in the cooler months because they don't have air conditioning there.
Oh, really?
And I'm having my water with ice tonight because they don't have anything cold there either. But, yeah.
Ooh.
But I also just wanted to say that the annex is looking miraculous. I mean, it's just, Lori had sent me a couple of texts while I was over there, and I got to look at the pictures of it and saw some of the great reviews that we're getting on social media for it. So he's doing an awesome job. So excited about that.
Yeah, that is exciting, that's for sure. Lori, you have anything further this evening?
I just want to say we had some really special birthdays the last few days. We had happy birthday Vinton. We had happy birthday Sabrina a couple weeks ago, and happy birthday Antonio.
Wow.
March babies.
Birthday. We should all celebrate, right?
That's right. That's right.
Mr. Vice Mayor, anything further?
I do. I got a couple things, actually. First off, parking lot, job well done. I mean, that is a job well done, and to me is a true game changer for the town. I mean, actually drove on it, so I guess it's open because I drove on it Saturday. So, but it's job well done there. The March Madness today, great job to the staff, to y'all. It was a good time. It's always good to get together like that, and you know, I don't know. I think your basketball game is rigged, but anyway. Against Mr. Peters.
Mr. Peters was on fire.
Right, the point, no, yeah, oh Lord, no, right. Well, I got, cornhole's a different story anyway. And I want to say that Sunday in downtown was just off the chain. My younger son lives down in Bedford, and they wanted to come to 107. I had a meeting at 2. They got there about 1:15. I got back to there about 2:45, and it was, just the ambiance was great. I mean, they had live music, and to me, all the things that we've done, y'all have done as staff, that's exactly what we want downtown. I mean, the farmer's market, when I pulled in, was full, and there was somebody backing out of the row spaces, and I got one of those, but it was great. I mean, and Corey actually from Pokey Joe's came over, and so we were going to go to Pokey Joe's, but we just stayed right there. So it was great, and to Sabrina, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed watching that trip. I mean, watching the things on that trip and y'all standing on that bridge. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people on that bus that didn't know the significance, but that bridge that's got a lot of meaning, especially to the game of golf. But anyway, I enjoyed that. So.
Right. Chris loved that. He said we didn't spend enough time there.
Right. Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So like great time.
Oh, I got one other thing. I'm sorry.
Go right ahead.
Right here. This is a napkin. Y'all very well know. That's the front. This is the back. If he says, I'm going to talk off the back of the napkin, Mr. King can attest. Give me about a minute. You need about 40. Because he's got a whole lot more when he gets in the back of the napkin. Watch his back of the napkin comments.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, I don't have a napkin, so I don't have a whole lot of comments. That napkin is home. And you guys have mentioned a lot of great things. I'm very excited about everything that's happening along the Walnut Avenue corridor, so I'm looking forward to us celebrating all that. That's going to be really nice. Parking lot looks great, as has been mentioned. Also, that grant, although it's not a big one, that's an important grant. I think the one from Roanoke Outside that'll allow us to keep our greenways in good shape, and they are heavily used. And there's a lot of people really excited about the painting that's coming along on the annex. So we're all excited to see how that works out. I would like to mention the comp plan. Believe it or not, I was around when we did it the last time. We had to carve it in stone instead of a computer. But it's actually an exciting process, and I hope our citizens will consider participating in that. I'm sure we'll have some public meetings. It's a really important document. A lot of people ask where we get ideas or why we're doing certain things. And it's because of all these public meetings we've had over the years. It certainly establishes what the community would like. And a great example, I think, is we had a couple of community meetings involving the library. The library design and the color and everything was actually chosen by our citizens. So those are important meetings, and I hope our citizens will participate. The only other thing I do want to say, I hate to keep going over the same things, but I thought today's March Madness celebration with the staff was awesome. There was a lot of fun, but one of the things I really enjoy is just seeing this staff get together. They seem to enjoy each other's company. They work well together, and I think I'd like to congratulate HR and the administration for doing that sort of thing. I think it's really important, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, really.
And congrats to the police department.
Thank you.
Yeah, overall winners. Is that right?
The medal.
I like to win.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, they had firearms on their side, so I mean, who's gonna go against them?
Me too.
Going to another team next time.
That's right.
But we can be together. You can work with. Oh, yeah.
Oh, next year could really be ugly, right?
That's right.
And we had several things like that not long ago. We had the chili cook-off, that was a lot of fun.
I thought the other thing too is, wasn't it, I don't know what it was called,
That perfection where it popped up.
yeah, popped up. I thought it was kind of interesting because people were so engulfed in the game. When it popped up, they popped up. You would see people go like that. And then the one across them would pop up, they would pop up.
That's true. So we're very fortunate that we can do things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was great. Anything further to come before council this evening? Any citizen comments? No. Okay. If there's nothing further, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right. And a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by leaving. Thank you, folks. God bless you.